Hey, it's Mr. Ng, going over the Math 5, Chapter 1.1 test from 1.1.1 to 1.1.5. Taken October 8th, 2019. This is versions A and D. Directions show all your work in the space provided. Box all your answers. Multiple choice of question number 1. What is the y-intercept of the graph f of x equals 2x squared plus 8x plus 3? Recognize this has no parentheses, so I'm going to standard form. And standard form has the advantage of the y-intercept, which is the letter C. So this is the y-axis. The order pair would be going on the x-axis at 0, and the y-axis would be 3. So the order pair would be 0, 3, which would be choice A. Question number 2. Match the following by putting one letter underneath the letter. One equation will not be used. So I'm going to go through each of the graphs and just kind of give a general characteristic, and then that'll help us match them. So this A value tells us if it opens up or down like a smiley face. This is a positive number. This one's pointing down, having a negative day, so a negative number. And this has an A value that is a negative number. Now, this problem has a 6, 8, maybe something like 10 y-intercept. So that's our C value. It also has a P value of -1, which is a x-intercept. Q value that's -5. And if I needed it, -3, -8 for a V for Vertex. This problem has a vertex at -4, -2. No x-intercepts. And then the graph's going to keep going down here, so I'm just going to say a y-intercept of a negative number. And then over here, close, P equals like a 2, like an x-intercept. Maybe a Q value of like -2. A C value that is a like negative like 21 or something, positive 21, sorry. And this seems like the vertex. So vertex of maybe something like 0, 21. Let's go through the characteristics and see what happens. I have an A value that's positive, and all the other ones are negatives. So A has to go to this graph. Let's go to this one. Negative graph and a y-intercept of 21. That's this one, so this would be H. And then both have vertex form, so remember vertex form is has to have a minus sign, so this is going to be turned into a negative, opposite of -4. What does that tell us? I have an H value of -4, K value of -2, so left or down 2, that would be G. I is not going to be used because this is going to be -2, -4 as my vertex. So AGH. Let's do the matching. Fill each blank with one letter. Standard form has no parentheses, so that would be H. Vertex form has one set of parentheses. This is a parenthesis. It curves. These bars are absolute values. And remember, quadratic has a power of 2, so this is not even quadratic, so this would be G. Intercept or factor form has 2 sets of parentheses right there, so this would be M. HGM. Number 4, your base is a number, and the exponent is a variable, so this would be exponential. Eloise is worried that her secret got out. So on day one, let's make a table here. Day number, people. So day number is 1. It's just she, Eloise, and her friend. So that's 2 people. And then day 2, 2 new people are finding out the secret every day. So here's 2 more people. So this is Eloise and her friend, and then these 2. So that gives you a total of 4. The relationship between the number of days that have passed and the total number of people who know about her secret. So day 3, then she's going to find 2 new people find out every day. So that'll be a total of 6, right? 2, 4, 6. So 3 comes 6. So you'll notice you're adding 2 here, which is the first common difference is linear. Another way you know it's linear is because it says 2 new people are finding out the secret every day. So 2 new people every day. Number 6, this is a line, so that would be linear. Number 7 is a little bit tricky. If you notice that here, they're not counting by 1, so if you make a new table of values, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 0, -4, -3. And then you don't have -3, -2, -1, you have 0, you have 1, and you have 21. So here what you can do is just do +7, +9, working backwards, that's going to have to be a +5. So something +5 equals 5, or 5 minus 5 gives you 0. That should be into that number. That means this one's going to be a +3. Something 0 minus 3 gives you this number. That would be -3. Or -3 plus 3 gives you 0. Now if you follow our pattern, these are pluses. So this would be +1. So -3 minus 1 gives you -4, because -4 plus 1 gives you -3. And then go from -3, -4 is -1, and this is -3. So you'll recognize this pattern here. And this is your first common difference. It's not the same number, so it's not linear. And then your second common difference would just be recognizing that you're just adding 2 here. So that would be quadratic. And the next correct question. What are you doing this weekend? Fun, safe, and legal. If you have all 3 of these, and you get 2 points. If you have just 1, you'll get 1 extra credit point. And then name, multiple choice, 2 points apiece, so that's 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 points apiece, that'd be 8. That one's wrong. 4, 6 is 10, 16, 24. The front side. All right, on the back side, make sure to show all your works and box your answers. Analyze the graph, this graph. Then circle the function which could model the graph. Describe the reason you choose to either eliminate or choose each function. So for number 9, I'm just going to analyze this and then compare it to the parent function. So we'll call it parent function. Parents get married and then they have children. So let's look at the children and then draw a graph and see if they match up to the parents. I have no parentheses. I'm going to add a 0. And the reason why I want to add a 0 is now you have standard form because there's no parentheses. A value is positive. Positive A value means concavity or opens up. C value is a y-intercept of -8.9, which means it's at 0, -8.9. So let's draw a graph. So negative 8.9. And then your graph could look like a bunch of stuff, right? It can look like this. It can come over here if you wanted to. All you know is you're just going to this point and it's opening up. Well, the parent graph has a y-intercept. We don't know, but it is a negative number, which matches our y-intercept. But this graph is pointing down, so let's write that. The child function opens down opens up but does not match the parent function that opens down. Let's try question number 10. Here I have vertex form, one parentheses here, and then I'm going to rewrite it so it has x minus minus 6 squared plus 3. Write the formula right below it. So this is negative, that means it opens down. Graph's gonna look something like that, right? You have the minus sign, so your h value is negative 6, and your k value is 3. So, does this graph match? Yes. Does match because we didn't graph it, so let's graph this one. Negative 6, 3 is in quadrant 2. It just means the x values are negative and the y values are positive, so it's shifted up here. So that's my vertex. That's what HK stands for. V for vertex, and it opens down. Does that match your graph? Yes, it matches. Because parent-child function opens down, and both have vertex in quadrant 2. Okay. All right, let's go into the next question. To determine whether the two expressions are equivalent. So what we're going to do is we're just going to expand these. So n plus 2 squared. That just basically means there's n plus 2 times n plus 2. Let's do that right here. So I have n plus 2 and then n plus 2. N times n is n squared. N times 2 is 2n. N times 2 is 2n. 2 times 2 is 4. So there I'm just multiplying. And then on the inside, you're going to add or combine like terms. So that becomes 4n plus 4 plus n squared minus 4. That becomes 2n squared plus 4n. And then these positive 4 and a negative 4 are constants. Those are going to cancel equals 0. So I have this term. And let's go see if that matches this side. So there I'm going to have to FOIL or use a box. N minus 1, n plus 1. Again, we're going to multiply, then we're going to combine like terms. N squared plus n minus 1n, negative 1n. So there's no combined like terms with n squared. And then these two, positive 1n and negative 1n, they cancel. That equals 0n. You're just left with 1, and you have that minus 3. And then you combine like terms here, so you have n squared minus 4. These two in boxes are not exactly the same, so you can say no. Expressions are not equivalent. After simplifying. Right? Those are not exactly the same. All right, question number 5. Hyatt Home Improvement uses H-shaped like tiles on their buildings, advertisements, vehicle designs. They use follow a specific pattern. The first 3 designs are shown. So one thing I noticed is design 1, there is a box of 1 by 1. In design 2, there's a 2 by 2. And then guess what? Design 3 has a 3 by 3. So it says draw design 5. So what does that mean? It's gonna have a 5 by 5 in here. Try to give you graph paper 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like that. So that's a 5 by 5, and then it has the longer sides. Just kind of do this very quickly to show you. So to think about it, I don't know, quick visual, you have a 5 by 5, and then this is a 5 plus 1 and 1, and then a 5 and a 1 plus 1, 1, 1, 1. So completing the table, so 1 has, if you count those all up, you have 7. 4 plus 4 gives me 12. 3, you have 9 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1 is plus 1 plus 1. This gives you 19. Design 4, which we don't have on here. So if you figure out the pattern here, you have plus 5, you have plus 7, so this would be plus 9, which would give us 28. And then design 5, if you're counting by odds, you'll have 39. So we completed the table, circle 1. My first common difference is not the same number, so it's not linear. We have a second common difference is plus 2. So it is quadratic, explain why. Because you have a second common difference of positive 2. Okay, what's next? Write an algebraic expression to represent the total number of squares in design n. So if I know it's quadratic, then I can use standard form. My a value is, let's use this up here, is your common difference divided by 2. So your common difference is way over here, which is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So a is equal to 1. The b value we're going to have to solve for. And then the c value is going to come from going backwards here. So c value is going to go from 0 to, the answer is, this would be plus 3. So 7 minus 3 would give me 4, just working backwards. So my c value is 4, 0 comma 4, right? If you go on order pairs. And what we're going to do is we're going to plug in an x and a y. So let's use 0. And what we're going to do is we're going to solve for b, then I'll have a, b, and c, then plug it back in, and we get an equation. So my x and my y is going to be 0, 4. So 4 times a value is 1, x is 0, plus b times 0. Oh, that won't work. Okay, can't pick 0, 4. The reason why is because everything's going to go away, and you're going to get 4 equals 4. So scratch that idea. We got to pick 1, 7. Any ordered pair is going to work except for the 0. So 1, 7. Let's try that again. 7. I always use pencil, but for my videos and class notes, I always use pen so you can see it. And then our c value was 4. So I have 7 equals, then PEMDAS. 1 squared is 1, 1 times 1 is 1. This just becomes 1 times b is just 1b, or just b, and then plus 4. 7 equals, combine like terms, 1 plus 4 gives me 5. To solve that, I'm going to subtract 5 and get b is equal to 2. With b equals to 2, now I can write my formula into the standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So my a value is 1, b value is 2, and my c value is 4. And just to bring that up, that should just totally make sense because you have the box. That's the x squared. Then your 2 x's. X represents your design number, so that's 1. This is this 1, 2, and then the plus 4s are way up here. Okay, how many squares are in design 8? So I can use my equation. And just plug it in for x. 64 plus 16 plus 4. And if you add those all together, you will get 84. Now, there is another way of getting that answer, kind of, but if you think about design number that is 8, if I just kind of drew a box here and just say, okay, this is going to be an 8 by 8. This is just going to be a 1 times 8, which is an 8. And then these are going to be 1s. Then you got your 64 plus 8 plus 8 is 16 plus your 4s will give you the 84. And over here, use the same thing, 51. Show your work, 51 squared plus 2 times 51 plus 4. This will give you 2,601 plus 102 plus 4 gives me 2,707. Again, the conceptual idea is that you have a box in here that is 51 by 51, and then you add 2 51s, which is 102, and then you add the 4s. So to give the point values, you got 4, 4 is 8, this is a 4, and then this one is a 11, so 12. 12 plus 11 is 23, so the backside is 23. So that is the free response of 23. Multiple choice is kind of 22 plus name plus period. 23, 22. So that gives you 45, and then 45 plus your name and points gives you the 47. So this test is out of 47. Good luck.
Math.
Say it again.
Our math.